Good morning. Um, Today we're going to do some watercolour painting. I've been searching out some pictures, some photographs of paintings I did in Cornwall last summer. So today we'll have a go at painting from a print. I can show you the picture. There we go, that's what we're going to do. See that? That's what we're going to do. We're probably going to simplify it a little bit in our painting today, not make it so detailed. I might make the colours a little less strong, but overall that's going to be the painting that we attempt to do today. The equipment I'm using, obviously I have this for drying my brushes, a little cloth, just to take the excess water off. I've got my watercolour palette there with a selection of paints. I'll talk about the colours as I go along. And my, can you see that? My brushes, yeah, you can see that. So a lot of plenty of kitchen roll, kitchen towel, because just, you know, sort of cleaning your brushes and dabbing out bits of unwanted paint on your paper. Really useful to have around. A little spray bottle, which is useful for dampening the paper to soften edges and create wet and wet areas on the painting where you want to work. You know, that's a must-have. I couldn't do without it. Apart from that, I think we can start painting. Okay, the paper's dried, and we can go on to the next stage of the painting. You could have just, obviously you've got a hairdryer, you can dry the picture a bit quicker, you don't have to wait for it to actually dry. Yeah, it's up to you. Because I'm just going to start doing the buildings now, and I'll work my way along, and I'll be kind of mixing the colours on the paper, not too much in the palette, so I'll be dropping browns, blues, like colours like burnt umber, raw sienna, ultramarine, sorry, not ultramarine, cobalt blue, and some magenta, just to kind of start building interest in the buildings. So we'll get on with that now. I'll start from the left. So basically, first of all, I'm going to take some burnt sienna with a touch of raw sienna. I'll start on that chimney there, and I'll let the colours just run down into each other. Pick up some blue. And see, by mixing the colours on the page, they stay so much fresher. You don't get all the way down to... I could be working all the way down to the waterline here. Okay. Keep washing your brush out so it doesn't get all clogged up and muddy in colour. Some of these colours will look a bit bright, but they will dull down as they dry. But I'm just kind of looking at the scene and building up the interest as I go along. Introducing warm and cool colours. I'm just popping a bit of green in here with the blue, because I know the building's there. Trying to preserve any highlights, because I don't like painting white paint onto my pictures, onto my paintings. I like to preserve the white of the paper, or the wash underneath, so we can this will be the first wash. When this one dries, we'll go back over the picture and touch up any areas that need to be touched up. Just going to touch that, let that run down. Stop dropping it. Oh, excuse my phone, I can't answer it now. If it's anything important. That one. Keep working my way along the picture, dropping in the colours. A bit more blue on that because it goes back slightly. So, you've got to work fairly quickly because you don't want these washes to dry. You want to keep them moving, and that's always it's a combination of working quickly, but you've got to still work mindfully, because if you don't, you just end up with a mess. You really do. I mean, you don't want a mess. Well, sometimes it's unavoidable, but okay, now I've got to see. It's thinking all the time what you're trying to do. thinking what you're trying to achieve. To this area, because it goes well into shadow there. Bring them down to the water's edge. Now I'm going to paint the reflections in the water, try and keep this wash coming down, just to get the remember to, when you're painting water, try and think what it's like to be, try to be water, as they say. I don't know why they say that. Some people do. Keep coming down the page. After this video has been posted, you can ask any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Keep the colours coming down, and just break it up at the edge, like that. Right, now I'm going to wait for that to dry, this next stage, and then we'll look for the other areas we want to put in. Okay, now that's dried, we've gone along there, that's dried. I want to start building up the darker areas to make it look a bit more three-dimensional. So, essentially just with a darker mix is what I've already made, I'm going to just start building up the detail, the shadows of the buildings, the windows, adding some interest, because if not it just looks a bit flat. But if you can get as much in on one wash as possible, that's the best way. The worst thing you can do, I always find, is keep going in layer after layer, because then it starts looking muddy and dirty. So get as much down as you can the first time. A, it saves you a lot of work, and B, generally you get a better result. So, starting from here again. A couple of windows on there. This rooftop is darker. Just painting really, really, really loosely. I don't want to get too fiddly. That rooftop in there was darker, and that one was darker. And it's essential that you wait for the last wash to dry before you start doing this, because if not, they'll all run in together. We've got the key wall down here. Just gonna indicate that. And the shadows. Keep varying the colour as well, because then it makes the painting look more interesting. Don't keep going with the same colour all the time, because the painting will just look a bit boring. So, you know, vary the washes, add interest. You know, getting on it right, that's quite a deep dark on there. Little dabs from the window. You don't have to paint every pane. Don't try and paint every pane of glass, because it won't look right. It's wet then. And you'll see your painting slowly come together. You'll see it start to change, and your painting seems to go. Often when I'm painting, I go through stages and think, oh my god, that's a disaster. But then a little bit later, if you keep on working the painting, it often comes back together again. It's all about, you don't want all the edges to be hard. You want what they call hard and soft edges to your paintings. There's a nice dark passage in there. And gradually you can see the buildings come to life. They start coming back together. God, I'm hungry. Colour in those windows. The light's hitting them. Yeah, so there we go. Okay, now we'll start adding a bit more interest to the water. Pick up these. Let's put the windows in quickly. So we're adding reflections, rooftops. I'm not being too, just soften the edges a bit. There are the washes. And there's that'll be. Just for the windows, all I'm doing is, I'm not painting the windows in, I'm just giving them a little dab of paint, just to suggest them. You don't have to go overboard. Painting detail. Let's put some windows in that boat. paint this boat in a minute. Got a nice blue hole. I'll just put that reflection in. And then just where the water is. And I know there's going to be a mast down here, so I'll put the reflection of the mast. The white boat. Let's put that in. Okay, right, we'll paint this boat there, the one we've got in the foreground, which is a nice orange colour. I remember it. It's a beautiful colour. So it's going to be two. The red is so strong that once you mix it, you can't seem to get rid of it. Okay, I'll do. Well, that's basically. This will add. This boat will really. Colours will really sing out of it. Add a bit more. That's that reflection. It's got a nice blue. Top line to it. Sorry, sometimes I forget you're there when I go off into my own little world. Painting. Just the windows. So it's all suggestion. It's just suggesting things, not painting everything in literally and making it tedious and boring for yourself. Cameras can do a much better job at that than we can. It's just about creating the overall scene. Okay, so now we need that to dry again. Well, I'll dry it, and then we'll put the final bits of detail in. Okay, so now that's dried, we're just going to finish the detail. We'll put the masts in of the boats. There's a couple of masts going up here, and the reflections in. So to do that, I turn the painting round. It's the easiest way of doing it. Mix the colour I want. In this case it's going to be a bit of raw sienna, a bit of cobalt blue. Find out where the mast is. I use this, my stick, okay. I've got quite shaky hands. I guess it's because I'm getting older. And I find this really useful for keeping myself still. Sometimes I'll work over paintings like this, depends how detailed the painting is. But I find that really useful. But it's good for drawing masts of boats. So we just put that in and we just draw that up like that. Just adjust the mast. There's one here. Make sure I got it straight. There's another one there. Oh, it's one a bit wonky. There we go. That's all you've got to do. And then just make sure you put the reflections in. Just draw that, squiggle it down. I'm going to put the boom in that one. The sound there. Just go round and put last bit of detail in, just suggesting where the shop fronts are, making sure you've got it all. Bit of shadow there. There's some little steps that come down here. And again, I'm not going to paint steps, but I can just see the overall dark shape of the steps, so I'm just going to put that in with a line, just to indicate it. Bottom of this boat here is a darker area, but to be honest, I don't think I'm going to do an awful lot more. That, you know, that is just like a quick. That's just like a quick impression of a scene. Now, if you're painting outside, you could do that quite simply in an hour, maybe less, 40 minutes. Just get your overall washes on and keep it simple. Don't try and overwork a painting. Don't make it hard work for yourself. When you get back to your studio or your house, whatever you've got, you can just finish it off by adding bits of detail that you maybe missed, or things that just make it look better. Because that's what it is. It's art. It's painting. We're not. I'll tell you what I have missed. There's a group of trees just at the top of the picture. And I'm just going to put those in now. I'm just going to use a very, very bluey wash for it. And there you go. Up here. I'm just going to get the canopy, and that's basically the top of them. And if I use my rigger, I can kind of draw in the tree trunks. Not going to miss those. That's that. And the other, there's a couple more just to the side of it. That's all you need, just to suggest the trees. I'm trying to have a look now, just have a look at what else I can do to it. Maybe a bit more shadow under there, on that boat. Maybe just a bit more shadow on that wall. But no, I think we're finished. I think that's it. If you have any questions, I'm sorry if I haven't explained it very well. I've been concentrating, but if you've got any questions, you want to, leave any questions, you can, and I'll answer them for you. I'll answer any questions I can. So I hope you enjoyed watching me do this, and I hope it's been of some help to you, because I know when I started painting it was frustrating because I never had anybody to show me what to do. I had to learn it for myself by reading books, but now we've got the internet and YouTube. It's really, really useful for people to be able to come and watch other artists work and get some idea of how they do their stuff. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.